All right, let's dive into the world of artificial intelligence. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the whole thing. We'll go from the actual code that makes it all tick, all the way to the huge questions it's asking of us, for our future. So if you've ever really wondered how AI actually works, and more importantly, what it all means for you, you are in exactly the right place. So here's the plan. First, we're going to start with the absolute basics. What even are AI models? Then we'll get into the transformer. Think of it as the powerhouse behind most modern AI. After that, we'll see how these things actually work in the real world, how they spread so darn fast. And finally, we'll tackle the big one, what this new partnership between humans and AI is all about. Okay, let's start at square one. What in the world is an AI model? Well, here's the thing. An AI model isn't meticulously coded line by line for every single task. Nope. Instead, it's more like a program that learns on its own from just incredible amounts of data. We're talking millions of images, or just the entire internet's worth of text. It learns to see patterns, and its knowledge, it's not stored like a Word doc in a folder. It's captured in this super complex web of numbers called weights and biases. Just imagine a giant soundboard with millions of tiny knobs, each one tuned perfectly to get the final sound just right. That's kind of what's happening inside. Now, these AI models, they basically come in two main flavors. First up, you've got discriminative AI. This one is kind of like a bouncer at a club. Its whole job is just to sort and classify things that already exist. It looks at a picture and goes, is this a cat or a dog? It discriminates. But then you have generative AI, and that's our focus today. This AI doesn't just sort, it creates. It's the artist, it's the writer. It makes something brand new, completely from scratch. So, what's the magic ingredient driving this incredible creative AI? Well, that brings us to the revolutionary piece of tech at its very core, the transformer. When the transformer architecture was introduced back in 2017, it was a total game changer. Seriously. Before this, models would read a sentence one word at a time, and they'd often forget the beginning of the sentence by the time they got to the end. But the transformer does something completely different. It looks at the entire sentence all at once. This ability to see the whole picture at the same time gave AI this profound new level of understanding context. So how does it do that? How does it see the whole picture? It's through this brilliant idea called multi-head attention. So instead of just reading through once, the AI uses multiple attention heads to look at a sentence from a bunch of different angles, all at the same time. I want you to imagine a team of experts reading a sentence together. One's a grammar nerd, another one's focused on the emotional tone, a third is just looking at the subject. By mashing all their insights together instantly, the AI gets this really rich, layered understanding of what's actually being said. Okay, so that's the theory. A little dense, I know. But how do these models actually work out in the real world? Let's get practical and look at a couple of really famous examples. First on our list, GANs. That stands for Generative Adversarial Networks, and the concept behind them is just pure genius. It's basically an endless competition between two AIs. One is like an art forger, and the other is like an art detective. So here's how this little battle plays out. You've got one AI, the generator, and its job is to create fake images. Its opponent, the discriminator, tries to spot the fakes. Now, every single time the discriminator catches a forgery, the generator learns from its mistake and gets better. And every time the generator actually fools the discriminator, well, the discriminator gets smarter. It's this constant, relentless competition that pushes the AI to create things that are just unbelievably realistic. And this isn't just some lab experiment. GANs are out there being used to create fake financial data to train better fraud detection systems. And in the creative world, Audis actually use them to dream up new car designs, while film studios are using them to generate some pretty mind-blowing visual effects. So how do we regular folks get access to these incredibly powerful models? Well, the answer is something called an API. And this waiter analogy is just perfect. You don't need to know how the kitchen works, right? You just give your order, your prompt, to the waiter, the API. It takes that request to the super powerful large language model, the kitchen, and brings you back the result, your food. It was this simple interface that unlocked the door for developers everywhere to start building amazing things on top of AI. Which naturally brings us to our next big topic, how this technology just exploded. How did AI make the leap from these high-tech research labs and, seemingly overnight, end up in our daily lives? Well, that journey from the lab to your laptop basically happened in three really quick stages.
At first, you pretty much had to be a programmer to even touch this stuff. Then came stage two, when cloud platforms made it accessible to almost anyone with just a few clicks. And now we're deep in stage three, where AI is just seamlessly woven into the tools we use every single day, from Adobe Photoshop to the apps on our phones.
So why did people, especially creatives in fields like marketing, jump on this so fast? Well, the reasons are pretty straightforward. It saves a ton of time, it saves a ton of money, and it lets them create really unique visuals that might have been completely impossible before. And now, we get to the most important part of this whole discussion. With this technology becoming so common, what does it all mean for us? This is all about the partnership between humans and AI. This quote right here, it points to a really critical danger. As AI gets more and more capable, it's so easy for us to start treating it like it's infallible, like it's some kind of all-knowing authority. The biggest risk isn't just that the AI itself is biased, it's that we will develop a bias for the AI, that we're just blindly trust whatever it spits out without applying our own critical thinking. So, what do? We have to be proactive. For any company, any organization using AI, the path forward is pretty clear. You have to set up ethics boards, you have to train your people, and you must always keep a human at the center of any important decision. The goal here is not replacement, it's augmentation. And this changes everything about what skills are going to be most valuable in the future. I mean, think about it. As AI starts handling more of the routine, technical stuff, our greatest strengths become the things that are uniquely human. Emotional intelligence, genuine communication, and truly creative problem solving. An AI can generate 1,000 options, but it takes a human to understand the subtle context, to persuade a team, and to make that final nuanced call. These are the skills that will matter most. Of course, the legal world is scrambling to catch up, and what's fascinating is that different parts of the world are taking wildly different approaches. You've got the EU, which is leaning towards very strict, risk-based rules. The US, on the other hand, is prioritizing innovation, and Japan is trying to find some kind of middle ground. The main thing to take away from this? Nobody has really figured it out yet. There's no global consensus. And all of this, it leaves us with one final, and I think critical question. We've seen that AI isn't some competitor we should be afraid of. It's a tool, a powerful one, that we need to learn how to use. So the real challenge ahead of us isn't just about building better AI, it's about becoming better humans to work alongside it. If AI is the instrument, how do we learn to play it beautifully? That is something for all of us to really think about.